Hey, it's Jag. What do you do when you've got trigger finger?
Yeah.
I have heard of trigger finger before. Never had it, but I got it now. For those of you who don't know, trigger finger is, it affects the tendons in your fingers. They call it trigger finger because it makes your finger get stuck. So the other day I was working, and I bent this finger like this, and I could not straighten it out. No matter what I was doing, I couldn't straighten it out unless I manually did that. If I worked really hard, it would straighten out. It would kind of like pop. So they call it trigger finger because it looks like your fingers on a trigger. And I think they also call it that because when you finally do get it to straighten out, it snaps back, kind of like you're shooting a gun or something, I guess. I don't know. At any rate, this kind of started about a month ago. One day, this finger just really hurt, and I thought, oh well, maybe that's not good. Maybe it's arthritis or something like that. And because it didn't get stuck, but I just sort of babied it for a couple of days, and it got better really quick and didn't bother me for quite a while. So at that point, I kind of thought, well, maybe I sprained it or something. I'd been chopping a bunch of wood and stuff. So I didn't think about it much, but about a week or so ago, this finger started getting sore again, and then by Monday, about 3-4 days ago, it hurt like the dickens. It was crazy how much it hurt. It was okay if I didn't move it, but if I moved it, it would hurt like crazy. And then a day after that is when it got stuck. And really strange feeling to close your hand in a fist and then open it up and have one finger that just won't move. It was kind of unsettling. At any rate, it's trigger finger, so I've got it in a splint, trying to do everything I can to avoid any sort of real medical intervention on it. I have issues with carpal tunnel in both wrists too. My hands will go to sleep pretty easily. But with all of those things, I'm trying to manage it without intervention. I have had cortisone shots in my wrists before, and it definitely did help, but I'm trying to see what I can do on my own to take care of it. And so for this, what I'm doing, they say splint it, leave it splinted, take Advil to bring swelling down. I guess it's the tendons or the sheath around the tendon, something swells or gets inflamed, and get lots of good oils. So I've been taking a tablespoon of olive oil every morning and an Advil in the morning and another one in the evening. It is getting much better, and I've only had it in the splint for about a day and a half now, but not moving it has been the best thing. It doesn't hurt. When this first started, my hand was really achy. It's not now. And if I take the splint off, it hurts much less if I move it, and it doesn't seem to get stuck anymore. At any rate, that's got me kind of incapacitated for doing any sort of soldering. So I'm going to see how things are tomorrow. It's Thursday right now. Tomorrow's Friday. It's my usual shooting day. I'm going to see if I can get any work done on the preamp. If not, that's going to be delayed for another week or two. But since I couldn't really do anything, and I'm not sure I'm going to be doing anything tomorrow, I started playing around with something that has I've been curious about for a while, and that is what would be the best sort of lighting situation for shooting videos here in the electronics shop. Not trying to do something sort of cinematic or really artful or anything. Something to just where everything looks clear and looks good, and you can get a good idea of what's going on. And so I just thought I'd sort of lay out what my setup is for shooting down here. I have a Neewer RGB 530 Pro LED panel, which is my key light, which is just up here out of the frame, and it's angled about 45 degrees directly towards me. I have another newer 530 Pro here, and it's set quite a bit dimmer, and it just goes down and lights the desktop so that when I'm working on electronics, I can see what I'm doing, but also the camera can see what I'm doing. And I have a desk lamp up here, which is usually turned on but pointed toward the window or pointed toward the wall. So that's sort of bouncing light back, sort of like a diffuser. And then I have two bulbs in an overhead light. Those are kind of my office lights, the desk lamp and the overhead light. I did go get LED bulbs to put in up here and in the desk lamp. So they're all programmable. So I've gone through and done a whole bunch of testing, setting things. I really like the way the video is looking out in my wood shop when I do video there. So I started out by going out there and kind of checking with my white card and my ZVE10 and just seeing at various spots around the shop, if I do a custom white balance, what is the ZVE10 reading for white on my white card. And generally out there, everything comes across at about 42 Kelvin. So I thought I'm going to work with that here in the shop. So I have set everything so that the ZVE10, every time I check custom white balance, no matter what I've changed, it shows 4200 Kelvin if the white card's right here, right where I'm sitting. So that was sort of my baseline. And then from there, it was just a matter of making sure that on every test I was doing, I was setting ISO so that the exposure compensation was somewhere between plus 1.3 to 1.7. So that's usually within a couple clicks or even one click of the ISO setting. So I did a bunch of testing, finally settled on what I think works best, which is what I'm filming right now, and I'll go over that at the end of the. It'll be the last test I do in this video. So here's all of the testing I've done. Please feel free to skip this one. Like I say, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do anything on the preamp this week, and I do want to get a video out. So I thought this might be interesting to a few people. We do have to kind of think about the quality of our video and how it looks. Like I say, not necessarily looking for anything cinematic or arty, but just something that where everything is clear and isn't terrible to look at. So with all that said, here's the tests. So everything right now should be at 4200. And right now all those lights are on. One thing I'm curious to test is to do one with some sort of practical behind me and set that to 2700 and see what it does, because I've never really done that kind of playing around. So hopefully this works. In terms of exposure, I've got everything set. I'm not exposing to the right, I guess slightly to the right. I could go a little further, but right now this is just where everything read at about plus 1.3 to plus 1.7 with the meter compensation. So this is another test. I've got my LED lights turned off, so I'm only using the office overhead and my desk lamp up here, which is shining on the wall and reflecting on me. If I turn it off, that's what I get. That's probably no good. Turn that back on. I could probably set that to a little dimmer, but I think that's looking okay. I just need to bring up the ISO a bit to 320. Okay, so there ISO's at 320. I've got just the one desk lamp here and the overhead lights. Mainly what I want to see is if I can avoid getting the glare in my glasses. So if I don't use that, next thing I will try is take my overhead LED. Right now it's at an angle just up out of the frame here. What I want to do is take it right up so that it's shining down and the box itself is higher. Here's a test. I have moved my my key light so it's not at an angle coming down at me. It's pointing straight down, just like my other overhead. This one's at 5%, set to 440K, which gives me a 42K reading on the ZVE10. This one is at 50%, set to 43K. So I'm getting a 42K reading right here with the ZVE10. So that's what we've got that set to. And again, they're both pointing straight down now. So mainly I'm hoping not to get too much glare in my glasses. I do still have my desk lamp on, so that might be giving some glare in my glasses. Next test we'll turn that off in a minute and see what it's like. And I have the overhead on as well. So I will turn off the desk lamp. Now it dropped maybe the brightness down a little bit, but unless I turn my head which I'm looking up. Now I think I'm getting some glare in the glasses, but if I'm looking at the camera, I don't think I'm getting any glare. So I will get some glass reflection, but probably not as much as with that one on. If I look this way, I get it. Looking this way, I think I'm getting it. Turn it off. I don't think I am. So this is probably so far about the best. That's the desk lamp and the office overhead lamp off, so giving me a darker background. The ISO has dropped, so I'm going to set that up a little higher again. We'll go to ISO. There's ISO 500. So an exposure's looking pretty good right in the middle right now. If I put my hand here, I get a little overexposure. But in general, I think we're doing pretty good. Nothing was showing clipping on the meter. This is just my video lights on. So the overheads were set to 5K, and that was giving me a 42K here. I've set them both to 26 now. 26 now. I'm also going to turn one of the two overheads off. So this is with just one of the overhead lamps on, the one in the back at 2600. Okay, there I have just my two video lights on, and I've got the door to the closet open, and that light is on, and that's about a 2700K. Okay, and finally a test to see what it looks like with a practical in the background. This is with just my overhead lights on. So this is all my office lights on, the video lights, the office lights, and the practical behind me. So hopefully we've got some good tests done. Both of my LED panels on. The one I use for overhead is still at 5%, and color is still set the same. Color temperature still set the same. The key light is still facing straight down. It's at 50%, and the color temperature is the same. And my desk lamp is off, and only one of the two bulbs in the overhead is on, the back one. And it's at, I think, 20%, and color's the same. So overall, my color should be about 4200 Kelvin, and we just have that working as a fill light. I'm going to turn a couple of them off just so we can see what they're doing. So here's with the overhead light. I will turn it off. That's with it off. And we'll turn that one back on in a minute. Here's with the overhead panel off. I'll leave the key light on. So that's with the overlight panel off, or overhead, or the over desk panel off. And this is with the overhead light on. And we'll turn the over desk light on. All right, I think this is probably the best setup for shooting electronics videos in the shop. The desk lamp is off. Key light is up and is angled back towards me. It's about maybe 3 or 4 feet up here and angled toward me. The key light is set to 50% brightness and 43 Kelvin. The over desk light is set to 5% and 4400 Kelvin. And the office lights, the desk lamp is off, and both lights are on at 100% for the office overhead, and they are set to 5,000 Kelvin both. And that is giving me a reading of 4200K on the ZVE10 when I'm sitting right here. So I think those are probably the best settings for filming. That's what I'm going with. So that's it. 11 tests, maybe a little bit of rambling in there. Allergy season, so I had a coughing fit in the middle of that as well. I think it's really good for me to have these tests. There are 11 of them. So I can look at this down the road and go, oh, I did this and that's how that looked, and I did this and that's how that looked. But as I said in that 11th test, I think that's what I'm going with for down here, which is what I'm shooting right now. These two are kind of the main lights for what I'm doing here. The key light, obviously, when I'm talking to you, and the overhead lights so that you can see what's going on when we're filming the desktop when I'm working down here. So my desk lamp, I'm not turning on at all. That gave way too much glare in my glasses. The key light being up here, I did move it just a little back from where it was originally and worked a little bit more on the placement of it. And it doesn't seem to be causing too much glare. You're not seeing a reflection of it unless I really tilt my head toward it. So you are seeing a little bit of reflection. You will always see that in glasses, I think. The overhead light for the office is 2 bulbs. Those are, I used Globe Electric programmable LED bulbs. With all of those different temperatures set, 4300, 4400, and 5500 Kelvin, when I read with my ZVE10, when I read a white card right here, it comes out to 42 Kelvin. And that matches what was happening for me out in the wood shop. So hopefully between here and the wood shop, things will look a little more consistent, skin tones at least. The wood shop has more sort of pine and wood, warmer sort of background elements. I may put some sort of warm practical back here. You did see a few of those tests and I didn't dislike that look. But we'll see what happens. I got to probably deal with the pile of amplifiers of shame, which are a bunch of amplifiers I need to get around to making work, and a few that I need to modify, and a couple that are sort of projects. We'll get to that at some point. At any rate, I hope this video was interesting to you, and maybe it will help you with setting lighting for your videos as well. Like always, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and check my band One Soul Thrust. The links are in the description below, as always. And until the next video, we'll see you.